be surprised at how many people over the years I've just put on a program to clear the mucus out of their head and lungs, counter the allergens that may escalate the episode of asthma or sinus, and it's a done deal. And they all say pretty much the same thing. This is unbelievable. You mean to tell me I've been taking medication all this time and I could have cleared this up simply in 1 to 3 months? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But there isn't big money in natural therapy. And of course, then there comes a little responsibility. You have to cut back, or in some cases, people are lactose intolerant. Some people can tolerate dairy. But if you can't tolerate it, and I was shocked to find out that 70 to 75% of African Americans are lactose intolerant. It made me think, wow, 30 years ago, when I've lived long enough to say this, I didn't see that many people were lactose intolerant, be they African American, Asian, anybody. It's something that's going on different. So we have to, when I put a person on a program and tell them, look, you can get rid of this sinus. I don't mean manage it. I mean get rid of it. Next year, this time, it'll be a done deal unless you decide to just keep eating the foods that, of course, caused it. A lot of sugar, a lot of dairy. Those are the things. So, of course, we're not saying a person can never have them, but if it is a big problem or you're lactose intolerant, then what you do is find a natural alternative that, is fine. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of articles. These articles are not new. This one was taken from the Chicago Sun-Times, dated March 17th. It says, surge in antipsychotic drugs for kids is troubling. This is a study. And it says here, their safety and effectiveness in children have not been established. But see, I thought if the FDA approved the drug, in other words, if it's on the market, it has been approved. People, we have lobbyists, and they know they can make money. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So if children are stressed, and let me tell you how antipsychotic drugs, how we get there. Stress is normal in everybody's life, but when you have stress and stress hangs around too long, it can turn into depression. And depression is normal with life too, but when depression hangs around too long, then it can turn into anxiety. And if anxiety hangs around too long, it can turn into panic attacks, all kinds of mood swings. So that's what we need to understand, is that if we understood how to counteract stress at the beginning, we would not let that stress hang around too long to turn into depression, to go into panic attacks and that type of thing. Now, of course, I'm not talking about something like bipolar. That's a whole nother thing. But I'm talking about how stress, a lot of these things start off as stress. Now, this is an article here that probably nothing is going to be done about it. And this wasn't on the front page. This was a little blurb in the paper. Now, ironically, February 10th of 2006 in the Chicago Tribune, it says FDA advisors. Now, these are FDA advisors. They want to beef up Ritalin warning label. It makes you wonder what is really going on. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the twilight zone, one step beyond the outer limit. Because this particular article said 25 people died on Ritalin from the side effects of it, okay? Just random. 25 people died, 19 of them were children. So the FDA, they were asking the FDA to put a warning label on them. Not check out what's wrong with them, put a warning label on them. And guess what? FDA decided not to. I tell people they're lobbyists. They are lobbying to put these drugs out here. And it's just like a gamble. They gamble. Well, so many people might die. So many people might get sick, but that's okay. We'll get so many people that, will get decent results. And I'm not saying that Ritalin hasn't helped people. Hear me. As an herbalist and a health consultant, I don't want to be in a world without drugs. I know we need medication. Medication saves lives. But the whole point of the article that I read at the beginning of our show today, called Save the Children, is about how doctors are not equipped to try to find something nutritionally with the diet and the lifestyle before putting children on medication. They're just not equipped. That's not how they're trained. They're trained with drugs and surgery. Now, here's another article. I don't know if you guys remember this story. It says, grandson says antidepressants made him kill. Right here it says Christopher Pittman, who had threatened suicide, was put on Zoloft 3 weeks before he killed his grandparents. Now, I read the whole story. This young man had been put on Paxil first. So he was still on Paxil. And when he threatened suicide, then they put him on Zoloft. So he was on the Paxil and the Zoloft at the same time. And they're arguing here whether they should admit the fact that, submit the information in his court case that he was on Paxil and Zoloft at the same time. If any of you have ever been on either one individually, you know that that's enough, way more than enough. Paxil by itself or Zoloft for itself for one adult, let alone an 11 or 12-year-old boy to be on both of them at the same time. It says South Carolina boy confessed he shot grandparents when they slept. Well, he shot and killed his grandparents and burnt the house down. These type of episodes are not going to decrease. They're going to increase. Now, somebody might say, well, the drug didn't make him do it. How do you know? If you have never been on Paxil and Zoloft at the same time, and I challenge you, we're in the internet age now. Get on the internet, go on WebMD and look up the side effects of Paxil and Zoloft. And speaking of which, here is an adult. She's a young adult now. I'd still call her a youth. Today's show is called Save the Children, but it says, quit antidepressants with a question mark. Easier said than done. Of course, if you don't know what to do. I've helped a lot of people to come off antidepressants. I just tell them it's going to take some time. And then I sit down and explain to them what's going on in their body and how. Now, it says here, I felt so sick that I couldn't get off the couch. Gina O'Brien is battling addiction to Paxil with little success. The reason why they say that is after reading the article, I saw that she was depressed. The doctor suggested that she take Paxil. She took the Paxil, but found out she was still depressed. But now, when she stopped at trying to take the Paxil, what happened is she was sick. So now she's not only depressed, but depressed with an addiction to Paxil with all of its side effects. Now that, people, is truly, truly sad. I'm going to tell you something which might sound strange, because sometime after you've heard so much madness, the truth is strange. I forgot, there is a stat that I wanted to go over. The increase in children on antidepressant medication has gone up 124% recently. But here's what I learned from a Chinese professor in Beijing. We were in China where they had the Olympics. And he kept saying that the liver was the organ of emotion, the liver and the kidneys, but particularly the liver, since the liver has a job of filtering all the chemicals out. Now, everybody that comes in to sees me, that gets a personal consultation, I make sure that this is one of the sheets that they get. This sheet says chemical poisoning alert. Do you know someone suffering with? Now, check out these symptoms. Insomnia, anxiety, depression, anger, irritability, negativity, panic attacks, stress, allergies, high cholesterol, weight gain, and more is actually battling a toxic overloaded liver. Now, that might sound strange to you unless you know what the liver does. The liver has over 500 functions, but one of them is actually getting the chemicals and poisons and toxins out of the system. It's like a filter. And the way this Asian professor explained it to us, he said, well, look at your body like a brand new car. When you're young, oh boy, you just like that new car. You can put gas in the car and just drive. What happens after so many years or so many miles or so much time, I should say? You have to change the oil and change the oil filter. He said, look at your blood as oil and the filter as your liver. And then, of course, eventually your kidneys. And I thought about that. I said, that is so true. So it's real important I let people know that everybody needs to clean their liver, because we got a lot of toxins in the food today that we didn't have years ago. I don't know if you all have heard about this singer, Sheryl Crow. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she said her oncologist told her not to